What would happen if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? As a kid, it's fun to imagine scenarios like this. But as an adult, you realize that any change to our planet's natural systems can have serious consequences. For example, when the relatively small island of La Palma in the Canary Islands experiences a volcanic eruption, it causes so much disruption to the weather that it affects the climate of the entire planet for months. And that's just one small island. So what would happen if the Earth, a gigantic ball of rock and metal, suddenly stopped spinning? First, we'd have to get through the journey from La Palma to Hawaii. Seriously, though, there are a lot of forces that affect our planet, including the Coriolis effect, which is caused by the Earth's rotation. This effect makes air currents and ocean tides curve to the right in the northern hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere. It also causes large-scale wind patterns, like the trade winds and the Gulf Stream, which significantly affect our climate. Without the Earth's rotation, these currents would be disrupted, causing major changes to our weather patterns. Then there's inertia. Everything on the Earth's surface would continue to move forward at the equator, where the Earth's rotational speed was the fastest. People, animals, buildings, cars, planes, even the atmosphere and oceans, they would all continue to move forward at their previous speed. The result would be catastrophic. People and animals would be flung off the surface of the Earth, quite literally. Buildings and other structures would be ripped apart and thrown into the air. Cars and planes would go off course and crash. The atmosphere and oceans would churn and roil, causing giant waves and extreme weather. If somehow life on Earth managed to survive this, there would be even more problems. Without the Coriolis effect, there would be no more balance between the Earth's forces. Gravity would pull everything towards the center of the Earth. Water would no longer flow towards the poles, and the Earth's crust would be under immense pressure. So what if the Earth didn't stop spinning, but slowed down? What if it rotated more and more slowly over millions of years until it finally came to a complete stop? If this happened, the Earth's gravity would become slightly weaker at the equator and slightly stronger at the poles. Water would gradually drain away from the equator and gather at the poles, forming giant ice caps. Over time, the Earth's shape would change from a bit flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator to a perfect sphere. Either way, it's safe to say that if the Earth stopped spinning, it would be a very, very bad thing. So let's just hope it doesn't happen anytime soon. Unless you live near the North Pole and are really, really tall, then it would be awesome.